right, here we are. Final game of the day. Look at these two records, Emmett. Has Eric giving the wave to the adoring fans in the crowd.
Many of them.
Yeah, which we know there are many. But Saint Vesdapunt in second place right now. Of course, Rafi doing extremely well. We just saw Rafi Stern defeat Kenji Matsumoto. Saint on your right is in second place right now, and Eric is in fifth heading into this game. So two players right at the top of the standings. Not too surprised to see it, Emmett.
Not at all. I mean, Eric has been ascending through the Scrabble world since he made his triumphant return to tournament play a couple of years ago. And I think Saint has been on the way up for a while now too. So I'm excited to see what these players can do. Eric's got a pretty clunky rack, but I'm surprised to see Eric drawing tiles out of the bag himself, as he just recently hit the milestone of 1900 and was very, very excited to make the point that now he gets to have somebody draw tiles out of the bag for him. So
I never got the memo about that, but yes, makes sense. Eric, he's, of course, somebody should be drawing his tiles for him, especially after that terrible draw that he had to start this game. Anybody else could have drawn better tiles than that. He could have played Audi, our new belly button word, leaving IY, but I think he did absolutely right to exchange tiles instead. Not that he drew any better, perhaps more of an argument for getting that designated drawer in his corner there. But yeah, nice response of Farsi there by Saint. Maybe the tiniest little upgrade available of Finca, leaving the R instead of the N, which in a vacuum, maybe I prefer. I'm curious, though, has auto-tune been added to the WoW dictionary? Because if so, that would give, I don't really know whether that's a word or not, but playing an N instead of an R could have worked out hugely worse in that case here.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure if auto-tune is in the new lexicon. If it's not, it should be.
It's not. Yeah, it's not yet. So
unfortunate.
Much ado about nothing. But yeah, that would have been pretty insane. So yeah, back to Eric. Emmett, not very good letters.
Pretty terrible, in fact. This is one of the worst draws that you're ever going to draw after leaving a solid leave like ET on an opening exchange. But he should be able to just play out eat or out 8 here and feel happy. Maybe even something like cutout or couteau if he wants to drop both the U's.
Yeah, couteau. That's pretty aggressive. Just looking at how, just how it looks on the board. Couteau right here is just, I don't know. Maybe it's not so bad given, as you suggested, it doesn't, that spelling, the annoying thing about it is that COTEAU takes an S, but COUTAU does not take an S. So let me just show you what the heck I'm talking about. This word only takes an S hook. This word takes both S and X. So that is what we're, I could easily see the players potentially, maybe if Eric is really sure about that, playing couteau in that spot, trying to bait the S hook from Saint. Maybe that's a reasonable way forward here. But I like what you said, Emmett, about just playing out eat, especially if Eric knows the E hook on this word.
Yeah, I think we'll see this come down relatively soon. It's not giving back overly much to Saint. So it's one of his top scores too. I think scoring 19 points. It'll be a reasonable score. Leaving the U is never something you'd like to do, but when you've got 2, it's better than nothing.
Yeah, that's all true. This is a tough one. This is definitely a tough move as Eric's tiles are flying all around the rack right here as he's potentially shifting them around at such rapid speed that hopefully they turn into better letters, but that is not going to happen for him here. He's going to have to make do.
He may need somebody to put his plays on the board for him as well as draw from the back.
So he's going to need a whole entourage now that he's hit 1900, if I'm understanding correctly.
Which I think is codified in the official rules, right? You get an entourage once you hit that number.
Again, I didn't understand this. I mean, what do I get as a, barely still, but I still am a 2100 player. I should get something nice, but that's okay.
Something. Is he may be considering exchanging?
I mean, just look at the speed, and he does exchange 4 again. So I do feel like there was something worth putting on the board for him there. I do feel the frustration of, there just isn't anything that feels good, but he had a 19-point play leaving the U. No, the U is not good, but it's definitely not 19 points bad,
To me, that seems like he wasn't sure of the E hook on Farsi.
Yeah, that's probably the case. So, all right, let me make sure so we didn't even get to analyze Saint's play of res with that Z. I'm trying to realize what Eric exchanged. Looks like he exchanged OTUU. And then Saint had this Z. Yeah, there was really nothing better than that, or maybe 0 through that R if he wanted to burn the O as well. But keeping it led to a slightly more balanced leave. So it makes a lot of sense. And Eric is now thinking about this possible bingo, Emmett.
And look how deftly he just put that down on the board. Well,
very nice.
It's very nice indeed. His only bingo. And now he's up by 7 points, which is kind of what happens after you exchange twice to open the game.
Yeah, he needed that too, because another small play was going to allow Saint to continue tacking points onto that lead. But now Eric has equalized with his only bingo available there of Bodyist. So nicely done. But Saint is still in a pretty good position, holding a lot of good bingo tiles with that H. He should be able to dump off the H somewhere. This spot looks pretty good to play HOO. The rest of his letters will combine decently well with the open letters, particularly this A. The B and W are not very good bingo tiles, nor is the F, but you could easily see Saint draw into something through those less appealing letters as well, Emmett.
Yeah, certainly. I think HOO is almost a no-brainer here. I mean, you could play it somewhere else. You could play OHO somewhere. If he's worried about those floaters, he could play HOO alongside the top half of Bodyist. But after Eric's drawing into a random rack of 7 tiles, it's really not something he should be worried about.
Yeah, it looks like he has Who set up. I'm pretty sure he's thinking about playing that right here. The only problem with it is so EH does not take any hooks here. So it doesn't really make a new place to play a 7-letter word. It would be great if you could also say about this play that it makes a new place. He doesn't have a hook on his rack to play it right here. That would be another benefit to a play like that. So it doesn't really open any new space on the board, but it does everything he wants in terms of scoring a few points and balancing his rack.
It's also going to bail out Eric's rack here, as he's going to be able to play something like Work along the side of HOO for more points than he would have, way more points than he would have been able to score had Saint not opened up that hotspot for the triple letter score.
Yeah, great point. Very true. But look at that. As predicted, if Saint was going to draw a bingo, it seems likelier than usual that it would go through this A. And sure enough, after Work, Saint is going to be hammering down, very likely, Relation.
It's a double-double.
Through that A, getting, as you suggest, Emmett, the 2 double word scores. I don't think there's going to be much wasted time on Saint's part before playing that bingo here.
I hope not. And while this is one of the smallest possible double-doubles, he's still going to be scoring 82 points and taking a 60-point lead. So, I think this is again a no-brainer for Saint. And he plays it. Very impressive.
Yeah, very fast. No surprise at this level. Even words like that, 8-letter words, As long as they have all 1-point tiles, you're going to be surprised to see players at this level miss plays like that. They're going to find them and play them nearly instantaneously, and this is no exception.
Yeah. Now on to Eric's rack. He's managed to balance a little bit.
Yeah, he left GLL, so he could have
Not
used
the worst
another.
sleeve.
Yeah, he could have used another vowel, and certainly the
Indeed.
2 T's wasn't ideal, but he should be able to play glint. He's got a couple places to play glint here for decent scores.
Yeah.
One right here looks great, using a couple cool hooks and getting the double word scores. If he misses that, he could play it here too, but glint in this spot right here would make the Y hook of Glinty extra dangerous. Ooh, and I think so. Glint here is 6 more points than what Eric is playing, and it's a little less crazy with that Y hook. But maybe Eric likes that. Maybe he wants to create that volatility at a deficit. I'm guessing he probably just overlooked the other spot. Emmett, what do you think?
Yeah, that'd be my guess too. I think Eric has a tendency to play very quickly in some positions, and as a result, he's going to miss some percentage of those tricky overlap finds, which we've seen other players that have been playing on stream miss earlier today too.
Look at that draw.
Oh, wow. He's so close to Bushfeld.
So close, but yet
He
so
is.
far.
But yet so far. That's one of the most infamous luck box Scrabble stories I know.
Yeah, an incredible story. Sadly, it came on the heels of one of my saddest misses in a game, but that's okay. I'm willing to do it for content.
It's true. Now Saint will have an interesting turn here. Actually, I think so many plays very close to each other, but I'd be looking to play Sugar maybe.
Yeah,
taking off the glint spot.
A couple ways to go here. Sugar makes a lot of sense. If you're worried at all about Eric having something good, why is he? If you're Saint, you might be saying, why is Eric playing glint there and not here? The answer might be he missed it, but the answer might also be he's setting up a great S hook or something for himself. I don't think Eric would ever play glint holding the Y. That just seems kind of crazy. But maybe if you think there's any chance of that, playing Sugar makes a lot of sense. But that being said, it looks like Saint is getting ready to play Kagoo right here, which is also a really great way to undouble his U's and A's, get rid of the G, which we don't love, and set up another S hook for himself, which is going to pair beautifully with the work hook as well. So anytime Saint draws a bingo ending in S, it's going to fit quite easily. So looks like he's considering a different tack now, maybe Guar on top. Emmett, what do you think of that?
I actually quite like Guar. It manages to neutralize the S hook on glint, and not all the way the Y hook, but the Y hook in some world where Eric actually does leave that behind. But it manages to neutralize that S hook without using an S himself and retaining an S in order to hit the spot beneath work. So I do really like this idea from Saint. It also scores more than Kagu, so he's going to keep the scoring pressure on Eric, go up again by 60 points. I think this is a good idea.
Yeah, he's it looks like he's now we're shifting back
to Kagu.
Very different plays, right? Like those are two plays that are completely different. Kagu is pure offense. That is Saint saying, I'm going to get the next bingo down and continue to put my pedal to the metal, so to speak. Guar or even Sugar in this spot are much more controlled, wanting to minimize the worst case scenario. If Eric has a Y or a big S bingo, won't hit nearly as hard once you block this off a little bit. So very different plays. For me, stylistically, I'm leaning towards Kagu. I just feel like the board is so open after that that I really like my chances of getting an S bingo down, whether it ends in S or even starts with S. There's all kinds of space for it to actually play, but I do not quibble with this choice at all on Saint's part. Makes a lot of sense. I get the rationale for it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. Well, I think
Another exchange
is
for
Eric
Eric.
exchanged? Okay.
Immediate exchange. I think that makes sense. I'm actually not sure. He had something like BDVFST. I don't remember his other
God.
letter.
No way. Look at the redraw from Saint.
Wow.
On the last turn, he set up Saguaru, Saguaru, and redrew Saguaro.
And look at the overlaps, which he sees immediately. That was something that I thought of, but I wasn't sure it was relevant to add about the play of Guar, is that it does create an A hook, and Saint had an A left over on his rack. I didn't really foresee a case where the again hook ended up mattering that much, but it certainly did right there. An 88-point bingo for Saint.
Yeah,
That's the
wow.
only place where that word fits on the board. Pretty impressive stuff.
Very impressive. Spotting those overlaps immediately. The word itself, I expect somebody at Saints level to find immediately every time, notwithstanding that he set up the almost exactly that same word on his rack on his last turn.
Right, it was the BDFLV that Eric exchanged. And yeah, there really wasn't much for Eric to do there. And now, after his exchange, he's got good and bad news. The good news, he's got a blank. The bad news is he also has a Q, and he's down by 150 points.
Yikes.
I think it's a little bit more bad news than good news there, Emmett.
Yeah, I think it's Eric is probably not feeling too good about his winning chances right now, nor maybe should he be. But I think there are totally ways out of this. Although, I mean, the only S hook on the board is not the greatest at this point in time.
Yeah.
Well, it's so tough for Eric though, because he's making a play that doesn't let Saint have first bite at that very volatile triple spot.
Yeah, it's so brutal, right? Like Eric, with any other vowel instead of that Q, he would have been licking his chops at this enormous spot for scoring, but drawing the Q prevented him from getting that massive play, which would have scored upwards of 90 points a lot of the time, maybe even 100 if you get the right overlaps.
Right.
Instead, he can't really do much about it. He could have played cat down here instead, but that just lets Saint get a crack at that huge spot. So I do like Eric's choice to sort of keep himself in the game as long as possible, deny Saint from getting that spot, and hope to bingo next turn.
It's kind of a crying choice that you have to make, but I agree with you. Well, I think that's the right choice for Eric. But the what ifs are surely running through his mind right now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, from Eric's POV, there's not a ton that you could look at and say, wow, that was like a huge mistake. I mean, glint in this spot instead of here, that doesn't seem, like a play that should immediately lose you the game or anything like that. So
right.
In any case, Saint playing Vice for 19 points. Seems reasonable enough to get rid of that V and C and keep the board. Doesn't really open anything egregious. That V out in space isn't really likely to do much. But Eric looks like he's getting set to potentially play Misdone. Emmett, that would start to make things pretty crazy in a hurry.
That would make things very interesting, opening up not just a very, very juicy looking triple word under the M in Misdone, but also the triple word, also juicy, starting under that O. So I think it's going to be interesting to see which one of those spots Saint chooses to take. I expect it'll be the one, the leftmost M.
Yeah, I think
but again,
so.
he could. Yeah, there's some other things to consider too for him. But yeah, he's got Moir set up very quickly.
I think I agree that he's likely to play this right here. It's going to score 42 points with all of those. Well, just the M is the only tile that's more than one. Still getting
Right.
42. But depending on what Eric draws, he could hammer this spot and at least equalize. Like if Eric gets a really big X play or something like that here,
Oh, wow. Yeah.
that would just be devastating for him. It looks like he's going to be closer to getting a bingo down here, depending on what
What's
he
that last
draws.
tile?
He's
Oh,
close.
wow. Puniest.
Wow. Does that fit
Does he have
anywhere?
one, though?
I don't know. He's definitely knocking on the door here as
Yeah,
Saint
certainly.
making his best play for sure. I like that for him.
I don't think he's got a playable bingo,
He
Will.
doesn't. That's brutal. And Saint draws the X. Does he have anything?
X.
Not quite. It looks like he's so close to having something that goes across, but I don't think he quite has it, even though he has Expel lined up on his rack right now.
Yeah, maybe he could think about, leaving the X on his rack with his next play, trying to find in the bag some sort of massive 80 to 100 point X bomb in that spot, but
Yeah.
not quite sure.
So Eric, if he wants, he's going to have to at least think a little bit about, do I somehow have a bingo that I'm not seeing? It looks like the way he had his tile set up, he just put SU to the side. So maybe he's thinking about playing Souk. That would be an interesting way of scoring a solid number of points. But I might be more inclined to try something like punt here just because I really don't want Saint to hit that spot. The problem is you're just closing more of the board at a deficit. So no, there's really no play that doesn't have significant drawbacks here. Souk giving up the valuable S, punt blocking lanes that you might need. Not really
Yeah,
sure.
I don't know. I mean, there's no as far as I can tell, there's no valuable S hooks. But again, S is, I believe, you'd probably know this better than I, but the most common letter to show up in both 7 and 8 letter words. So even if it's
Yeah.
not going to be valuable for hooking, it's going to be valuable for bingoing regardless.
Yeah, I think the E is slightly more, but the S is still so much more valuable because it's such a better hook. But a suggestion of playing maybe just up here, does that make sense?
Ooh,
Taking a big point sacrifice, but you really do need more real estate to get a nice big bingo down. That's definitely Eric is frowning because he really wants Puniest to fit on this board, but it just doesn't. And he's going to have to come to that realization. So,
it's a very large point sacrifice.
yeah.
But it really may be necessary if Eric wants to get back in the game. I'm not quite sure how often he's bingoing through the V, which is
Yeah.
really the only spot left on the board after punt.
It's tough. Maybe he can draw a bingo ending in E, a 7-letter word ending in E to hook eam. Maybe he
That's
can
very true.
point. He can think about that. Again, I'm not disputing your general claim, which is that after punt, the board is extremely difficult to get a bingo down on, and Eric desperately needs a bingo in the worst way. So, tough.
Yeah, I mean, look, well, he needs a bingo, but he also needs to keep scoring, right? Like even after a bingo, if he plays like UP for 12 or 13 and then a bingo, he's still going to be losing by 40 or 50 points after whatever Saint plays. So,
well, he just it suggests his previous play is buying into exactly that logic. He's basically limiting his chance of playing a bingo on his next turn by getting rid of his S. But when he does get one, it'll get him much closer on the scoreboard than it would have otherwise. So let's see what he ends up drawing. YA, I don't think is exactly what he was hoping for there. But is there any glinty play that goes all the way down? Probably not.
oh wow.
That would be great if he could do something like that. But even then, that doesn't really open the board the way that he would want.
Not quite.
Oof.
gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough for Eric.
Yeah, I don't really see anything that makes me very happy. And look at that, Saint drawing the second blank, and he is going to be poised to play Ulexite right here with Ian
Oh,
on his
brother.
next turn. And I'm pretty sure he's going to see that. Saint, such an experienced player. He has Exile U lined up right now. I'm going to bet that he's going to see Ulexite here.
That is scary to see for Eric. I hate to say it, well, but I think his winning chances are going down the drains in this game.
They're not good. I would say that. But you know what? It's Eric Goldstein. He's never going to quit. He's going to fight to the bitter end. That's why we love him. That's why he's got one of the bigger fan clubs of any player out there. I count myself an Eric Goldstein fan, and I know he's going to finish this game out as hard as he can, try to narrow this gap any way possible. And I like this play from him of Patty for 33. No, the Y is not a great bingo tile, but actually, if Eric does get a bingo into this Y, it could score enough points to actually matter, which is what we've been talking about. So that play makes a lot of sense. I think it's a great play by Eric.
Yeah, although I'm not sure it's going to matter after if Ulexite comes down. It's not necessarily the easiest thing to spot, but I would expect Saint to spot this.
Yeah, look at exactly. Look at how suspicious those tiles are lined up together. The beauty of playing Ulexite right here is it doesn't even open anything. It would be one thing if it put a tile in the triple lane, which might give him some pause, but actually it's only going to fit one square short of the triple lane, which makes it extremely safe for him to play. So we'll see if he sees it. I do feel like if you know this word, Emmett, it comes to mind pretty quickly when you have these letters.
I agree, Will. I think it's a pretty natural place for your mind to go. But again, I mean, if this is something we talk about, every second that Saint doesn't play Ulexite, I get more and more worried that he won't actually see it.
Yeah, it's a big swing too, because what is he going to play if not that? He's considering playing Lux, which would go down. Maybe he's going to play it here. Maybe he's going to play it here. Either of those, they score decently well, but it definitely keeps Eric's winning chances on life support as opposed to Ulexite, which just finishes it off immediately.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, interesting. This is a pretty massive swing here. Saint's taking his time, but I feel pretty confident that he's not going to spot Ulexite at this point.
I'm surprised. I feel like he had Ulex lined up, and it would have, for at least for me, that's where it would have popped into my mind, just having that set up. Maybe there's a bit of a theatrical situation going on here, so we'll see.
And Ulex again, which for those Collins players in chat, is not actually an NWL acceptable word. So kind of one of the only spots in which you'd set up Ulex is if you were playing this, relatively high probable word of Ulexite.
Yeah, let's see. I agree with you, Emmett. Every passing second makes me think he's not going to play it. But I was initially so confident that he would see it. Saint is a great, great player. He definitely knows this word. I have no doubt about that. It's just the blank that's getting in the way. I think if you were to take that blank and turn it into a T, he spots it immediately.
I agree with that, Well, for sure.
Oh, there we go.
Does he have it? There we go.
Ching.
Okay.
Very nice. So after a little thought, and Eric kind of looking down and realizing that's going to be it for his winning chances here, I think 81 points for Saint to go up by 154 in this game. Nicely spotted. It took a little time. He gave us a sweat, Emmett, but he got there. He
did indeed give us a sweat. Or maybe he just wanted to enjoy his time in the spotlight in front of the camera. Although improving to 11-3, Will, I have a sense that we will be seeing a lot more of Saint as this tournament goes on.
Yeah, he's definitely put himself in position as the primary challenger of Rafi Stern. Again, the WoW division standings, Rafi at 12-1 going into his next game. And Saint at 10-3. So if Rafi were to lose this next game, Saint would just be one game back. And look at that. He draws Betane, which is a
Wow.
valid 7-letter word. I don't think it will fit anywhere, but
I don't think so.
yeah, just more very nice draws for Saint in this game. Eric
Eric's going to
forced to
go
play fat.
for the points. He's going. I think it's possible that you may want to consider playing something like Find in the top left corner, hooking Vice. But Fat is certainly the most points Eric is going to score on this turn. I'm just not sure he's going to be able to bingo.
Find is a cool play. But yeah, totally academic at this point for Eric for sure.
Certainly.
So yeah, what are we? I think we're up to date with the tiles. Looks like there's 4 in the bag. So Saint can at least be thinking to himself, what's the worst case scenario? Do I have to worry about Eric having something bad to this Y? That might be a way that I could get in trouble. What about RY going down? Doesn't seem like that's possible either. But yeah, at this stage, Saint has a ton of time. 11 minutes. Oh, Eric's sending us a message. I didn't catch it.
I didn't catch it either.
He just wrote something on his sheet. Did anybody see what he just communicated to us in the chat? I wasn't paying attention.
Whatever it was, I'm sure it was funny.
I'm sure it was.
Saint finds his top equity move of Web. Impressive to be playing so accurately at this point. When the game is in hand. Oh, nice by Eric. That's a nice spot.
Yeah, very nice. Definitely a good spot by Eric. 54 points for this word to really do a lot to cut the gap. So nicely spotted by Eric here. Of course, he's going to get bad news from the bag with VY still lurking in there. Eric hasn't committed this play yet. I've given him credit for it already. I don't know if he's going to pick it up. Nope, he's going ahead. So nicely done.
All right. So, reportedly, yeah. Eric has said he's used his time in the spotlight to send a beautiful message to say hi to his wife, Alicia, who I'm sure is watching.
What a guy. What a guy. A family man.
Indeed.
And doing his family proud. Alicia out there watching, his wonderful wife. Not only that, we should definitely mention that Eric's son, Noah Goldstein, one of the absolute fastest rising players in the entire continent of North America. Is North America? I literally almost just said, is North America a continent?
It's the end of the day. Well, you're allowed.
Yeah, I am trying to commentate through COVID right now, just for the record. I feel like I'm managing it okay, but if I say stupid stuff, I can blame it on that. But yeah, Noah Goldstein's been hoovering up points left and right, much like yourself, Emmett, 2 of the fastest rising players in the country.
Thank you. Well, it's a grind, the Scrabble circuit. I really don't get out to as many tournaments as I'd like to per year, but one of the great things about being the son of Eric Goldstein is that whenever he gets to go to a tournament, you get to go too. And Eric is one of the most active players in the country, playing over 250 rated games of Scrabble in the past year, which is more than double the amount that I played in my entire Scrabble career. So,
Eric is he's active. I'll say that for him. He has never won to turn down a chance to go compete, which you got to love about him. But Saint is pretty active as well. Saint, I should add, this tournament, the Word Cup, presented jointly by WGPO and by Collins Coalition. Saint is an accomplished director. I believe he is a director within the WGPO organization. So very active, energetic player as well in Saint, well known to players on the West Coast. Really great guy. I think he's also, I know he already was a dad, but I think he's a new father, second time over. I think he's just had another child, his second, I believe, a daughter. So huge congratulations to Saint on that. So yeah, pretty both impressive players and family men. Emmett, what more can you aspire to?
Look, Will, I mean, when you're in a position like Eric's, down almost 100 points with the game winding down, I think all of us know that the only thing we can really find solace in is the love of our family. And both of these men do that effectively. So
Very
at the end of the
nice.
day, it's just Scrabble.
Look, there is no amount of family that can placate me when I have lost a game of Scrabble. I can't. I cannot say that my family gives me the same comfort. I see the rage of 1,000 suns in my eyes anytime I lose a game of Scrabble. But I appreciate that other players may be different. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, Saint looks like he's tracking very carefully. Maybe he was just playing his game. It looks like he has a lot of time
He does.
to do that if he wants to, and he definitely, he played fast enough. The players are laughing that he has plenty of time to retrack the game. He has detain set up on his rack. That would play right here, but I think he could probably do a little bit better if he wants to. As far as a sequence, given that detain would score only, I don't know, something like 23 and leave him with an A, he could probably have a little bit better of a 2-turn sequence if he holds back a couple tiles, as long as he makes sure that Eric can't go out, which with the VY on his rack, Emmett, not very likely.
Yeah, I think we'll see. Maybe Saint will be able to find the very stylish play of ident, making those 2 overlaps with Sohn and Toot that we identified all the way back near the starting of the game. So that would be a sweet find.
That would be great. Yeah, that spot looks like it's particularly lucrative right here. If Saint is thinking about playing there, he's got the N, which is the key tile that will allow him to hook there. He says, "Hi, Alicia. Hi, Will." That's another message specifically to me. Feels a little bit rude, Emmett, to leave you out of the equation.
Look, well, me and Eric have a very complicated relationship. No, I'm all in good fun, though. I'm sure if he knew that I was here, he would be probably writing an even bigger message than he wrote to you. But
yes, for sure.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
So yeah, I mean, this game is decided, but we're going to just make sure that Saint is going to make sure that he plays the end game to the best of his ability. As we've mentioned a number of times, what are these numbers next to the records? That's cumulative margin of victory. Even in games like this that are decided, you have a strong incentive to maximize your margin of victory so that you can win more tiebreakers against people with the same number of wins. So that is what Saint is doing. But yeah, this is going to be it for the day. We've played our 7 games of day 2, and yet we are not even halfway through the event. This is a 31 game event. We've got days 3 and 4 coming up, 7 more games apiece before the climactic day 5, with 3 games between those top contenders in both divisions. So this really is a marathon, not a sprint. If you're Rafi Stern and your rank and your rating, or rather your record, is 13-1 after 2 days, you have set yourself up beautifully to win this event, but you still have a long way to go. We have seen this a lot of times from all different players over time. It is hard to stay in first place for a long period of time at a tournament like this, Emmett.
It really is, and I'm sure there are many players that are snapping at Rafi's heels and probably now Saints' heels who are excited to catch up with them. We've got a glom of players at 9 wins and a bunch at 8 wins too. The group at 9 wins includes the ever present, it seems, at this Word Cup event, Jackson Smiley, who has the best spread of any of the 9 wins. That's obviously Will, the 2-time repeat champion of this event, going for the 3-peat this year.
Emmett, Eric just shouted you out on his sheet, by the way.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Gosh. I'll have to scroll back in the stream to see that and maybe take a screenshot of it for posterity.
Yeah, I believe. At least that's what they're saying.
Thank you, chat, for letting me know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Jackson's up there. Sam Hollington is up there. Nigel is up there in the mix as well, as is Kenji, and Eric will be knocked down a peg after this game, but on 9 wins, he's still in the mix. Obviously, Saint is going to be in a strong second place, a commanding second place. So I think the WoW division is going to be very interesting over the next couple of days.
Yeah, and just a quick update also for those who are interested on the Collins division. It is not a big surprise to see Wellington Jigare at the top of the standings at 10-4. We've seen Wellington twice on stream, and in both of those games he lost. So maybe he's going to want us to stay away from his stream games, but unfortunately he's too fun of a player to watch, and we will not be able to oblige him on that. But I would say, looking over the top group, the most surprising name to me is Nasikak at Team. Must have reeled off a ton of wins in a row, because he is now sitting at 4th place, which means 3 of the top 4 players in the World Cup standings in Collins right now are Nigerian-born players, which is a pretty amazing result for that delegation coming to North America to compete. That's really, really impressive. So, all right, what did we just see here? Did we see Saint play off
Dex?
Just a D? Yeah, that's it. So, okay, Dex was the play, getting 22 points and basically daring Eric to block Tania right here, which I think Eric's probably going to be able to do and buy himself another endgame turn if he wants it. My gut says Eric play. Yeah, well, that's the right play, but the wrong order. Eric should play Foe
and then
then Raya. Exactly. So Saint pulling a fast one here. He's going to get away with a good sequence, but Eric could have prevented it. Not a big deal. Again, this is a decided game. It's the final game of a long day. I'm sure the players want to go out and get some food, etc. And there you have it, Emmett. Final play of the game.
Yeah, it's we had a couple of slogfests in the last 2 games. That's invalid. Don't even check it. Slogfest.
Wow.
But,
nice.
We've got 521 points here for Saint, and Eric also breaking 400. So after 2 games without either player breaking 400, we've got 1 game with 4 and 1 game with 5. So
these 2 players are very likely to want to discuss this game. So maybe we can cut to the table, Mike, and hear Eric and Saint's words of wisdom.
No, that's great. I played well. I mean,
I was gonna do Zen to block you, but I thought.
Did you see Farsi E?
Huh?
Farsi with E?
Yeah.
We should do that once. Shouldn't exchange.
When? First rack?
So I set up my Zen, but I thought this was too open.
Fuck, you're right. Yeah.
No, you didn't play terribly, but you made mistakes. Costly. Like Glint plays here. Oh, sorry. Glint plays here.
Yeah, I had NK at the end.
Yeah, but I wanted to create
You
volatility.
did? Did you see that other? 16 points.
Yeah, but this creates more volatility. Perfect. Yeah. Like, that was definitely on purpose.
So this made me think I
I
have to
didn't
block
see.
here.
I didn't consider Farsi.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Is LE leaving a U?
Yeah.
Give me D, I had free Kando.
But the second exchange, was that right?
What do you mean, give me a D? It was you went first.
I know.
What about the second exchange?
I went second. Just pass.
He had Saguaru on his rack. He lined it up and then he drew Saguaru.
So my second exchange, was that wrong?
That's fine, yeah.
And the third one was a no-brainer.
Wait, what was the second one?
I kept ATE. And I threw
That was the first one.
No. I threw an OUUT.
At the beginning?
No, the beginning was. You had it.
You were first?
I was first.
Okay, but I didn't see that part.
Oh, that's why I didn't play
Yeah, you
Farsi.
threw back.
I threw it back.
5, right? I think 5.
My kid got 5. Kept ET. He plays Farsi.
You know what you threw back?
Well,
You remember what you threw back?
with the first rack,
Yeah.
uh,
Vowels or consonants?
vowels.
You have an A? ATE is better.
I think he, no, I've never.
He lost.
I lost.
416, 529.
No, you definitely got luck sacked.
Wait, is that right? I had 5. I had 505. I had 416. You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
You had 6.
Are we live right now?
What?
Are we live? Are we still live?
Yeah, but I don't think the mic is working. Oh, it is? Hi.
Hello, everyone.
Yes, it is.
What's she saying?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so that was just, it wasn't like huge errors. You should play, you didn't see Farsi. You didn't see Farsi.
No, I
and I
did
think
see Farsi. I did
I
see
was
it.
trying to block. I thought
I
he had
did
the
see it.
Y.
No, I was sure.
So I
But I didn't.
sacrificed.
But I don't remember when the second time I flew in.
Taku kept the time.
Oh,
Well, I had out eat. Oh, because he played res.
you did, okay,
Oh,
you did
I
play
see what you
well.
said.
You did play well.
Yeah, I kept
You just-
holding.
That was
You
a
did make some.
I would have should have done that, leaving a U.
Well, no, that's all.
No, I like it is. I don't know. I'm upset.
We got paid you the black out of that.
That slow roll with you looks like that was very slow roll.
I wasn't sure if that's the only one, but I didn't find it.
I saw dead straw.
That's strong better.
Oh, he blocked it.
Why'd you have Lux lined
Oh.
up for like 2 minutes then?
So my second
I
rack,
think
I
you
did
saw it late.
I think
I think
I
you saw it late.
thought the T, and
Or
then
you
I
weren't
couldn't
sure.
find it, and I went sure, and then I look at it again. It looks like a word. I
kept
kept writing.
ATE.
You can be honest with me.
So out eat would have been.
No, out eat. You should play out eat. Out eat is fine too.
I mean, it gives back a ton, but it's a lot.
Yeah,
I'm
you
down.
only scored like 20 or whatever.
All right.
Zero.
I don't think
Yeah.
they're
Leaving a U.
I don't think we're getting too much substantive post-morteming here. They're just talking about a lot of the stuff of that we've already covered here. Eric is getting some. I'm not even sure what to call this. I was going to say therapy, but it's kind of the opposite from Josh
Inverse
Sokol
therapy.
here. But yeah, so anyway, players are just wrapping up. It looks like the playing room is emptying out. And Emmett, I think that's our cue to call it a day on stream here. Any thoughts from you about the 4 games that we commentated together this afternoon?
I think we got quite lucky, Will. We had a ton of very, very interesting positions. I'm going to be mulling over that Ixana position in my head for a while.
Oh, yeah.
That's like one of the most interesting things I've seen happen live on a Scrabble board in quite a few games. So yeah, I feel like we got pretty lucky with these games. Excited to see where this tournament develops over the next couple of days.
Yeah, I agree. That was a fantastic position to sink our teeth into. So again, just real quick, it looks like still no result from Rafi Stern, but we see Saint Vesdapunt defeating Eric Goldstein. No matter what happens with Rafi, Saint will be in second place in the North American-focused WoW division, and Wellington Jiggeray, no surprise, pacing the field in the Collins division. So we're going to call it a day. As we have for both days 1 and 2, we're going to resume with Collins division play tomorrow morning, same time, same place, right here on this channel, before transitioning back into WoW division play from focused on the North American list in the afternoon. So with that, thank you so much to everybody for watching. Want to give a huge shout out to both Word Game Players Organization, WGPO, as well as the Collins Coalition. You see both logos on the board there. These two organizations doing incredible work to make the 2024 Word Cup a reality. So with that, thanks everybody for watching, and see you all tomorrow.